Well, hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another major boxing announcement. And it's my pleasure to announce that on Wednesday, May the 11th, live on Main Event pay-per-view via Foxtel or KO, you can see via the Newcastle Entertainment Centre a massive triple header of boxing, a stacked undercard right underneath that as well. It's all headlined by a history-making fight. The Australasian heavyweight title will be on the line when Paul Gallen fights against Chris Tszyu. Chris is currently holding a record of 10-1-1 and represents a massive challenge for Paul Gallen. We'll talk to him very shortly. Nikita Tszyu is making his return to the ring after his triumphant second-round stoppage victory in his first bout. He'll take on the 5-0 Mason Smith, so a big step up for Nikita Tszyu. And also, the Australian lightweight title holder in Harry Garside is fighting against the 5-1 Leighton McFerrin, defending his belt. And Leighton McFerrin holds a 5-1 professional record to date. So an outstanding card of boxing, all brought to you by No Limit Boxing Promotions. I'm Ben Damon, and I'll be calling the fights on Main Event. Really looking forward to this massive show. It's been a stacked year so far, and we continue on with this huge show. Wednesday, the 11th of May, and the good news for the people of Newcastle is that we are headed back to what has previously been called the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, an outstanding venue for boxing. Really looking forward to this big night of fights. I'll talk to George Rose from No Limits, and first and foremost on this Australasian heavyweight title, Paul Gallen, Chris Tszyu. Gallen said after he fought against Justice Hooney that he was done with fighting against proper boxers. How did you talk him back into fighting against someone of Chris's level?
Look, he has said that in the past, but one thing about Paul Gallen is when you present him with a challenge, he very rarely backs down, and we presented him with the challenge of an Australasian title. It's going to be the first crossover athlete to win an Australasian title. So massive for Paul Gallen, and really exciting for us here at No Limit too. I love seeing Gal in the ring. There's a lot of people that say they want to fight Gal, they want a piece of him. Nobody ever comes knocking on the door when it comes down to, when push comes to shove. Nobody knocks on the door because I'll probably get knocked out. You step in the ring with Paul Gallen, and that's what he wants to do on May 11. He wants to win this Australasian title, and I think it's great for us to be able to see Gal back in the ring up there in Newcastle.
Just take us through the conversations you had with Paul Gallen around this fight. The Australasian heavyweight title, Chris Tszyu, who's 10-1-1 as a pro. What did you have to say to him to convince him this was the right fight?
Well, we want big fights for Gal. There's not a lot of big fights that are still out there for him. Well, not the fights that he wants. They're not coming knocking. As I said, they're not coming knocking at his door. So whatever we can present, we'll toss it up to Gal. And as I said, you set the challenge for him, an Australasian title as a heavyweight. And I think he's done enough in this sport to be able to walk away with a belt, to be able to look back on his boxing career and have that belt to be remembered by as one of Australia's great heavyweights of the last 5 years.
From the team in Melbourne, Tszewski's side, they're very, very confident about this fight. It's a fight they're very keen for. Does it ever rattle you when you hear that sort of confidence coming out of the opposition camp?
Oh, look, I mean, everybody should be confident. You step into the ring, you have to be confident. And I think with guys like the three fighters that we have here today, you have to step in and bring your absolute A game. Otherwise, you will be walked over by these guys. They are the absolute best in the country, and you need to be confident. You need to bring your A game, but and that's what all of these guys are. They're very confident. They know the opportunity that they're presented with here on a No Limit pay-per-view. It's the biggest fight card of the year so far, and our linear shows, our No Limit on Fox shows have been fantastic to start the year. This is our pay-per-view, so we've got to go even bigger and better. And that's what it's going to be. They've got very tough fights, but they're going to be very entertaining fights.
Yeah, you just mentioned the other fighters who are sitting up the front with us. Nikita Tszyu has his second professional fight. It's against Mason Smith. He's 5-0 as a pro, so Nikita clearly going to another level in terms of his opposition. And similarly, the Smith camp very, very confident in this fight.
Absolutely, and speaking to him just the other day, he said that if it wasn't for COVID, he'd be 10-0. So he's really confident that he can come in and cause an upset, but that's sort of the position that we're in with Nikita, is that there's no easy fights out there for him, and people either go running and don't want to have the fight, or they see it as an opportunity for a big upset on a big card against a massive scalp in Nikita Tszyu, who, if you saw his last fight, I'm super excited to see what he's going to bring when he makes his debut in Newcastle. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, you mentioned Newcastle there. This will be the 10th time that a zoo has headlined at this venue. So history being made with Nikita Tszyu being the co-main, at least, in this huge show up in Newcastle. The 10th time that they've made the trip. They've really made it their home, and I guess No Limit are excited to be headed back there as well.
Absolutely, and they call it God's country up there, apparently. That's what Glenn Jennings likes to say. He asked me to give him that plug, but he absolutely loves Newcastle. The Newcastle fans love the Zoo boys, and they've always supported us whenever we've put on a big show there in Newcastle at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre. And Nikita coming there, I'm sure everyone will be excited to finally get the chance to see him live in the flesh and see what he does.
And then Aussie Harry Garside defends his Australian lightweight title against Leighton McFerrin, 5-1 from Tasmania. Not someone we know a great deal about, but he's got a handy record.
Absolutely. He's a very good fighter. And for Harry's just finished, he's just come out of the ring 2 weeks ago. He's ready to go again. So it's a short turnaround for Harry, but he wants to be active. He wants to be busy. He's the Australian champ. He's the Australian champ, and he wants to defend that. I think we're very lucky to be able to have 3 massive fights like this on a card in Newcastle.
You are keeping him busy, aren't you, Harry Garside? It was only a couple of weeks ago, and we're, 3 weeks away from this one. He came up and commentated with us in between. He's got everything going on.
Oh, he's got everything. He's doing magazine covers and that. He's actually I quite like the look of him on his magazine shoots. He's doing well, Harry. But there's so much to Harry Garside, and I think that's what we love as Australian boxing fans, is that we've got different characters. Everyone up here is very different in what they do and what they bring to the sport, and even in the ring, they're very different fighters. So we're going to get a mixed grill of entertainment in Newcastle.
You must be pretty excited with how Harry was received headlining at the Horden less than 2 weeks ago. That was a huge night for No Limit.
Absolutely, and a very dangerous, very hard fight, and Harry showed his absolute class that he's got in the ring. So there's a big future for Harry Garside, and this is just going to be another step towards what we see of his big future.
Of course, you can watch all of the action May 11, a Wednesday night. It'll come to you on Main Event on Foxtel or KO. But George, tell us about the tickets for those who can get themselves to Newcastle.
Of course, as always, we have our pre-sale through nolimitboxing.com.au. That will be available from tomorrow. So make sure you jump on nolimitboxing.com.au for pre-sale to guarantee your tickets. And then general public tickets will be available through Ticketek the following day. So get in early, nolimitboxing.com.au.
Thank you so much to George Rose from No Limit Boxing. I'll head over now to the Australian lightweight champion, Harry Garside, who takes on Leighton McFerrin in this fight. Just his 3rd professional bout. And, gee, Harry, you are busy. Don't you want a break?
Not really, mate. I absolutely love getting in the ring. So when the opportunity come up, I couldn't say no. And the old school fighters, Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray, they always used to fight. They were fighting all the time, every second weekend. So I want to be no different, mate. And I just love being inside that ring. It's just another opportunity. So another step in the right direction for sure.
How do you reflect on what happened a couple of weeks ago in your big fight against Munro Matet, that huge venue, that atmosphere, and doing what you did in the ring?
Yeah, not going to lie, mate. I was a little bit nervous before it, just obviously not being from Sydney originally, and to walk out and have, the Horden Pavilion, it felt like it was packed. The atmosphere was amazing, and credit to No Limit, they always put on the best shows, and the atmosphere was fantastic. And to headline a show at the Horden Pavilion in my second fight, I was very honoured, and there's a lot to improve on in that performance, and I'm going to show that in 3 weeks for sure.
What do you know about Leighton McFerrin?
Don't know much at all, mate. I just know he's from Tasmania, and from the amateurs, every Tasmanian I've ever fought, tough as nails, so I'm sure he's going to be tough as nails, that's for sure.
Tell us about this card and how excited you are to be fighting on a card which has a zoo and has a Gallen on it as well.
Absolutely stoked, mate. And to be fighting up in Newcastle, I absolutely love it up there. And they're boxing fanatics, and to be up there fighting alongside Nikita and Paul, I'm very, very excited. And as I said, they love boxing up there, and I just want to showcase my skills to the Newcastle fans. Have
you had a chance to watch Tim when he's fought up there and seen the atmosphere and what it is like inside that venue?
Yeah, the stadium looks absolutely mental, and it's country, it's rural, so they're always bringing the best atmosphere, that's for sure. So I can't wait to get there, and it's only 3 weeks away, so it feels like it's tomorrow.
We've been really impressed with your journey so far. 2 fights, and you showed dramatic improvement in your second bout quite clearly. What have you got for us the 3rd time out?
I keep it all to my chest at the moment, mate, but me and Johnny are definitely working on some things in there. There's a lot to improve on after that last fight. There's always room for growth and always room for improvement. So 3 weeks' time, mate, there's not heaps of time to make many adjustments, but I'll definitely be putting in the work over the next sort of 3 weeks to be trying my best to bring a newer version and a better version of myself.
Okay, we look forward to that. Thank you so much to Harry Garside, who'll be defending his Australian lightweight title on this show. The co-main will feature Nikita Tszyu against Mason Smith. Mason is 5-0. Of course, we saw the professional boxing debut headlining on Fox Sports for Nikita Tszyu. Nikita, first and foremost, it must be so exciting for you as the third of your family to be heading to Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle, it's a crazy, crazy town. And when I was there the first time for my brother's fight with Hogan, it was just an electric atmosphere. I remember walking through, just as I walked through the gates, I could feel the rowdiness of the city. I could feel the passion that they have for this sport, and it was just a beautiful scene to be part of.
You must be keen to get back and headline your own shows there at some point, given the success that your family's had.
Yeah, for sure. In the near future, I'll definitely be able to headline, and yeah, it's an honour to fight in that kind of stadium. There's a legacy within my family, and there's a great honour with it.
How have you looked back on your professional boxing debut? What you managed to do, a stoppage victory, obviously, is what you wanted, but how do you reflect on what happened that night?
Well, the first round I was still kind of figuring myself out. I was not necessarily in the most comfortable stage. I was still trying to adjust and get used to the scene, and I haven't fought in 8 years, so there was a lot of new feelings, new emotions going through my mind. But in the second round, that's when I started to feel a little bit more comfortable. But then I feel like there was a bit of an early stoppage, so I was a little bit disappointed in that I felt that my opponent could have kept going, and I felt like I could have continued to improve within the fight.
Do you think we'll see an even better version of you this time out, with less nerves, less of an occasion perhaps with your debut last time?
Yeah, well, now that I've had the time to reflect on the fights, I've had time to reflect on the emotions, how I feel within the ring, then there's a lot more comfort that I'm bringing in with this. And I've been focusing on very new things. I've been focusing a lot on just building up a lot of strength, a lot of endurance for this fight. So I'm really excited to showcase myself once again.
Your opponent, Mason Smith, is more experienced as a professional. He's 5-0 and very keen for this fight. What do you know about him?
There's not much about him that I could find on social media, but there is enough that I have a basic understanding of how he fights, basic understanding of how he moves around the ring, and we've tailored sparring partners for that kind of style, and I already got a game plan for how I'm going to approach this.
And what sort of a style does he bring? What sort of a fight should we expect?
It's not about the style that he's going to bring, it's going to be the style that I'm going to bring. And you're just going to have to wait and see. Okay, we will do that. Thank you so much, Nikita Tszyu. Looking forward to seeing him in action again, as well as this man, Paul Gallen. Paul, welcome back to another Big Fight press conference. Great to have you back and to have a date finally for your return to the ring. I'll start by asking you that. You did say after fighting Justis Huni that you were done with the proper boxers. Well, Chris Tszyu is a proper boxer. Why are you here?
Yeah, with a great record, 10 wins, only 1 loss. Look, at the end of the day, as I've said from day one, I want to get paid. And the only way to get paid in this sport is to fight fights that are interesting, fights that people want to see. And that's, fighting, probably NRL players or elite boxers. And, this guy is ranked inside the top 5, I think 4 or 5 in Australia. I think I'm just 1 or 2 above him. So it's going to be a good fight. The Australasian title, the boys told me there's been no crossover star that has ever won the Australasian title. So that was a huge carrot for myself to try and win that and do something that no other rugby league player has done.
What have you made of what you've seen from Chris Tszyu? I'm sure you've had a good look at him in preparation for this fight.
Yeah, look, he's Macedonian, and there's a little bit of a conflict of interest. I'm actually the assistant coach of the Macedonian International Rugby League team, so I've gotten to know the Macedonian boys very well over the past 6 to 12 months. And mate, this guy's going to be tough because they're tough. They're very proud people, and I know I'm going to be in for a fight, that's for sure. He's a genuine boxer. He's probably more of a boxer than what Huni was. Very fast, very light on his feet, a lot of movement. So I've got to come up with a game plan to get in there and beat him.
Did you learn some things in that fight with Justis Huni that you can use in this fight?
Yeah, I definitely learned a few things and probably learned a little bit about my preparation too. I was fit as anything for that fight, but at the end of the day, when I got hit, I got hurt because I was too light. So I'll come into this fight a lot heavier than what I was that previous fight. I'll still be fit, I'll still be strong, but I'm going to be heavier and try to be sort of around my rugby league weight.
This is a huge fight, a huge undercard as well. I know you're a big fan of Australian boxing, and clearly Harry and Nikita are exciting to be on a show with them.
Yeah, like I feel humbled. I feel it's just a great thing for me to be able to headline an event like this. I still remember, look, it would have been 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago now, Tim Tszyu, I headlined a show for him, and I remember saying, if I one day can watch Tim Tszyu headline an act, I've done my job for Australian boxing. And within 3 or 4 fights, he's headlining events in Australia, now going all around the world. So I feel like creating a platform for him was the right thing to do for boxing, and now to do it for these guys too is really humbling for myself, and something I'd love to nothing more than to see these guys headline their own acts. I mean, Harry Garside I've known for a little while now, and to see what he did over there for Australia, for our country, and win a medal for the first time in a long, long time was just so good to see. Such a nice fella. And obviously Nikita, I've been able to meet him over the past few weeks, and such a nice guy, and just his mentality, man. His mentality is like, I didn't talk to Tim that much, but Nikita's mentality, he's focused, like laser focused. He doesn't stop training, and I can see that. I can hear it in his voice. He's a dangerous man. he's a dangerous fella.
A word on the Newcastle Entertainment Centre as well. It's a venue that has produced some crazy excitement and atmosphere over the last few years.
I can't wait to get up there and have a fight up there. I've got to say, the Newcastle Entertainment Centre, I first went there, look, I think it was about 2005, as long as these guys might have just been born, to watch Lance Thompson, the great Lance Thompson. Bless his soul, he's not with us anymore, but I was great friends with Tomo. Played against him for a long time and played with him for a long time, and went out to watch one of his fights up there. It was on the Anthony Mundine card, and yeah, great night. Just absolutely pumps that place. And I've been up there, to watch Tim fight 2 or 3 times. I've never fought it there myself, so to be able to finally get a fight up there, and for this title, Australasian title, it's going to be a huge event, and I can't wait to get up there, and it's going to be a packed house. And I know I've already spoken to people up in Newcastle who can't wait for these tickets to come out and get there. So it's going to be a massive event and a massive occasion for us 3 boys, and I can't wait to do it.
And just a word on that title, the Australasian heavyweight title, that would be something special in your professional sports career to have a heavyweight belt like that at the end of it.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I've been lucky enough to achieve everything in rugby league, play for my country, my state, win a premiership, and I've come over to boxing. I've made no secret of what I'm here for, but at the end of the day, to win a title like this against a guy with a record that he has, it'd be very good for myself to be able to show my family, show my kids when they get older. Look what your dad did when he was younger, and it's a huge risk. It's a big risk to fight a guy like this. I mean, I could easily sit out and wait for the NRL season to finish and fight a couple of NRL players at the back end of the year and get my money and sail off into the sunset. But I'm fighting a guy who's got a great record. And it's a dangerous fight. I mean, if I lost his fight, this could be the end. This could be my last fight. I'm 40 now. I'm definitely at the back end of my career. I've told everyone that for a long, long time. And if I was to lose his fight, it would be very hard to come back from.
And a final word, Gal, why should people get to the Newcastle Entertainment Centre and watch all this action, or why should they watch your main event?
Oh, look, I think it's all here in front of you. I don't have to explain it. It's right here. It's going to be an action-packed night. You get to see 2 of the best up-and-comers in Australia. You get to see me hopefully do something that no other crossover star's ever done in history, win an Australasian title. And I'm determined to do it. I'm going to be ready to do it, and I'm going to walk this bloke down and get stuck into him.
Well, we look forward to that. What a night of boxing it promises to be. It is Wednesday, the 11th of May. It's live on Main Event Television. It's at the Newcastle Entertainment Centre. You can see Harry Garside defend his Australian lightweight title against Leighton McFerrin. You can see Nikita Tszyu in his second professional fight against Mason Smith, who's undefeated at 5-0. And the Australasian heavyweight title's on the line when Paul Gallen fights against Chris Tszyu. An outstanding night of boxing. Cannot wait to bring it to you. I'm Ben Damon, and I'll see you at the fights.